Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame.
Oliver Anthony is a musician, and he became famous about a couple of years ago singing a song called Rich Men North of Richmond, which became just a huge hit. It was a guy singing out back and out in the country with no fancy, nothing fancy, no smoke, no fancy lights, no nothing. Just a guy singing a heartfelt song that really gripped the whole world. It was quite amazing. And Oliver Anthony was at a conference this week that was put on by a group. Jordan Peterson put together an organization called the ARC, which is the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. And they invited Oliver Anthony to speak at this conference, and I believe it was in London.
I believe that many of the problems identified at this conference are quite possibly symptoms of a bigger problem. We currently exist in an age of rapid digital immersion. The current average American teenager will have spent something like 30,000 hours by the time they are 30 on social media. The average American spends 6 to 9 hours a day staring at devices. And whether it's a city sidewalk, a family dinner table, the receptionist at an office, even people driving their damn cars down the roadway, I constantly see the struggle between maintaining conscious attention in the real world and the overwhelming pull we feel towards the digital one. And in my unprofessional opinion, neuroplasticity has made us increasingly digitally proficient, but at a cost of being digitally dependent. And if being hired on as a London cab driver can change your brain on an MRI scan, and if life experiences like PSD can alter the DNA in sperm, what irreversible alterations will 30,000 hours of staring into algorithmically fed state of hypnosis do to the human mind or to their offspring?
Wow. This guy just came right out of the box, and this guy will tell you what's on his mind. And God bless this guy. I watch this stuff and I watch this guy's speech, and I'm like, I don't want. I mean, I'm part. I make content for video, so to some extent, I'm contributing to this as well as anybody else. And I really watch myself to be as I put a certain amount of time in. I'm doing editing, I'm doing production, and I'm in front of screens a lot of the day. And I don't know how to get around that. I mean, that's what I do. But I do try to limit it as much as possible and have a as full a life as possible. I hope everybody's doing that.
And in this short breath of time, we live in a state of existence that quite possibly no one else in world history has. We have both access to instant global connectivity, infinite information, and consumer-level access to artificial intelligence, but we are the last few humans in world history who remember what life was like before it.
We do.
We are the last living people in history to have experienced life before the digital age. And I fear that it may become nearly impossible for younger generations to even differentiate the digital world from the real one before the end of my lifetime. There is nothing inherently wrong with technology, there is nothing wrong with instant connection, and there is nothing intrinsically bad about access to abundant information. But what is bad is the lack of control and agency we have over these systems. And without realizing it, we are being programmed, and our culture is becoming commodified. Therefore, the more time we spend on these digital information systems, the more we revert to the mean of one of a fixed set of broad internet cohorts. In other words, the more time we spend online, the more commoditized our culture, the more tribal our psychology, and the more vulnerable we become. When the
That is so true. That is so true. And he mentioned tribalism there as well. And I've been talking about that a lot. It's weird, the algorithm. I'm talking about this a lot too lately. The algorithms we get, you're going to get, we're showing this on YouTube or other places, they're going to feed you certain things. And that's what they give you over and over and over. Whatever you show that you're starting to like, they'll give you a ton of it. It is doesn't it works against the idea of being broadly educated. They want to narrowcast you, and that causes a tribalism. We watch one tribe watches the same information. And then the other side, on the other side, they watch their information, and it's a total gulf. And it's a very, very sad thing. I'm really glad Oliver Anthony is talking about this.
The floods first came to Western North Carolina last year, where I used to live. There were tens of thousands of people who showed up to help from all over the country. No one asked them, no one paid them, and most of the world has no idea they were ever even there. I was there the same day that the governor of North Carolina came for his little photo op. He made a public announcement that day with the current statewide death toll of the floods. But that same morning alone, volunteer veterans with cadaver dogs that I had met with had pulled 15 bodies out of a single pile of debris near the KOA campground in Swannanoa. The statewide count at that point had to have been well into the hundreds. I believe the number the governor used that day was 28. In fact, there was a reefer truck that sat for 2 days full of bodies because the morgues were overflowing. And while FEMA was hoarding donated generators and denying people on their applications, it was the nobodies of the world that were driving ATVs and Jeeps with chainsaws up mountain roads rescuing people. There was 2 guys we met that hot-wired a bulldozer from a quarry to cut a navigable path through a washed-out road in 2 days that the state said would take months, allowing supplies to people who hadn't had contact with anyone in over a week. Volunteers were working 16 hours a day, taking supplies on everything from horses to helicopters. It was humanity there in front of my very eyes. And
These people were also politically, this is a political thing too. People in power at the time, I don't want to get political here, but the Biden administration ignored the people in North Carolina, I think, because they were basically white Republican Trump voters, and they were ignored because of that.
it was in that 7 days in North Carolina that changed everything for me. It was people saving people. Even with lack of leadership, failed protocols, and overwhelming inefficiency from the state, the nobodies took up the slack. And so I'm just here to remind you that we don't need our false idols. We should no longer rely on politicians who bow down to money to manage our city or our states. We need to find the real leaders everywhere and empower them. Western North Carolina was proof to me that there is an army of good people left in this world who want to do good things. We just have to give them places to gather and give them the ability to act.
Amen. Amen to that. Right on, Oliver Anthony. And I've been saying this again for a long time. And personally, yeah, I'm conservative. Yeah, I'd voted for Trump. Yeah, I'm for a lot of the stuff going on, but we are not going to fix everything at the level of just waiting for one man and his team to take care of our business for us. We got to, people, we need to be empowered. The people need to be empowered. All right, so Oliver Anthony is going to talk about the Rural Revival Project here, which I never heard about before, which sounds very, very cool.
And so I close with this. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong, for like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And so I'll see you on April the 5th in Spruce Pine, North Carolina for the first official gathering. It is now my life's mission to revive rural America one town at a time. It's called the Rural Revival Project. So thank you for listening.
Okay, so this is something that's being promoted by OliverAnthonyMusic.com. It's called the Rural Revival Project, and talks about it here a little bit, what it is. The Rural Revival Project is focused on revitalizing rural farms and communities. Very, very cool. Promoting sustainable development and improving the quality of life for people living in rural areas. The goal is to turn abandoned farms into places where people can go and learn to can food and learn how to raise animals. People who have just gotten out of rehab with PTSD and people who are depressed and suicidal can come here and reconnect with nature and learn to exist outside of a system that has just kind of been placed on us as a generation. We plan to play shows here, play shows in towns and counties that have not had live music come to them in a very, very long time might be finding themselves in a financial deficit. So we also hope to loop in local vendors that can help boost these towns' economies. If you have a talent, a business, a venue, or simply are interested in volunteering for this mission, please complete the form on this page. So I'm going to put a link in the description to the Rural Revival Project, also, and what Oliver Anthony is doing. This guy is. Uh, yeah, these are forgotten people that he talked about in his originally in his song "Rich Men from Richmond." So this is the organization that was put together by Dr. Jordan Peterson, and with help from a lot of other people. And they just did their big event in London. So yeah, it said 17th to 19th of February. They drawing 4,000 people from around the world for their second global ARC conference in London. So it's a worldwide movement. The this idea is in the human heart, and it's a worldwide movement. Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, international organization. Their aim is to unite the conservative voices and propose policy based on traditional Western values. So this is a really, I think, a great thing that Dr. Jordan Peterson is doing. It was founded last year. Now, the history of it, it says that former Australian Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson helped initiate the conference, said that the group emerged as a response to the civilizational moment in which the Western world is plagued by self doubt and confusion regarding its values and beliefs. The shaky ground of depleted social institutions such as the Christian church and the breakdown of cohesive social norms, etc., etc. That's what causes movement. And this is a big one. When they mention the breakdown of the Christian church, this is the whole reason I believe that we are in the mess that we're in, because the Christian church itself has broken down. It used to be very strong in both the United States and all over Europe. And it's no longer such a powerful thing. And this has left a vacuum for all sorts of things to come in, horrible things in our culture, and even the idea that we need political fixes. We need political fixes because we have moral issues. Our moral uh, ground has crumbled. We're looking for political solutions that we did not need. We should not have needed political solutions if we would have kept our culture strong and if the Christian church would have remained strong. Oliver Anthony sang his famous song "Rich Men from Richmond." I can't play it. YouTube wouldn't let me play play that much of it without giving me some type of a strike here. But I'll just give you a little taste of it, and then I'll put a link in the description also uh, to this song, so you guys can grab it off there and listen to it as you want to.
What the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. We're living in the new world with an whole soul.
Oliver Anthony says we are living in the new world with an old soul. But it's a great song. And it really spoke to people, and it had, I think, a fair amount to do with helping wake people up further. And I think Oliver Anthony has shown, from what I can see of what he's doing, that he's willing to be himself, to trust in God, and not let fame ruin him. And I think so far he's done a great job in that. So hats off to Oliver Anthony. And I really appreciate what the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship is doing with Dr. Jordan Peterson. Again, links in the description. And I hope this is useful to you. And I hope this message resonates with you as it resonated with me. We'll see you next time.